Michelle was bright, she was intelligent, she spoke fluent French, quite a bit of German. I loved politics, and so did she. I could have a discussion with her on any subject whatsoever. She used to love calling me Dad, and I used to think, yeah, I feel proud of that. She was just happy-go-lucky. And it's only when she got to about 13 and then she started meeting boys, she changed overnight. She started smoking and drinking, and she's gone from being this happy girl to one that just wanted to argue and fight about everything in the world. We believe, and me in particular, that that's where Michelle got dragged into that world.
So Michelle Bettles was 22 years old. She'd been working as a sex worker for 2 years in and around Norwich city centre. On Thursday, the 28th of March 2002, which was the run-up to Easter, she was last seen on St Benedict's walking towards Norwich city centre at about 8:20, and that was picked up on CCTV. And that was the last sighting of her. She had an appointment at 9 o'clock in the opposite direction to what she was travelling in, and she never made that appointment. Her body was found just about where I am now, which is about 6 or 7 metres off the Podmore Lane, which is a very minor country track. It's a very rural area, there's very little traffic about. It's about 500 metres off the A47, the main Norwich to King's Lynn carriageway.
On the morning of the 31st of March 2002, approximately 20 miles from the red light district in Norwich, Michelle's body was found by a local resident who was walking his dog in some woodland. She had been strangled.
The post-mortem and the scientific analysis of Michelle suggested that she'd been dead for 24 hours before she was found, which puts it into the 30th of March. And also, more oddly, that the scientists felt that she'd been stored somewhere dry, perhaps the boot of a car or another building, before she was brought here after she'd been murdered.
When Michelle's body was discovered in the woods, some of her belongings had gone.
Well, Michelle was missing some items of clothing. She was missing a very distinctive black leather coat that she was known for wearing. She was missing a jumper with a fleeced collar. Her underwear was missing, and so were some items from her handbag. There are several sightings of her, 6 in fact, in and around Queen's Road, City Road, Burr Street, areas of Norwich, which was the red light district at the time. And there are numerous sightings over there that we believe she was working at up until around midnight that evening. This was one of the biggest cases Norfolk had at the time. There were 674 DNA profiles taken. There was 9,000 statements taken, trying to find the person responsible for murdering Michelle.
After exhaustive inquiries, police questioned 3 suspects, but when their alibis checked out, they were released. 20 years on, and the crime still remains unsolved.
There isn't a day go by where you don't think about Michelle. She was Denise's daughter and my daughter, and I want her to be remembered that way. We come down on her birthday, and we come down on the anniversary of her death. We have to pass Podmore Lane where Michelle was found. I always know when we get nearby. It's just like a magnet guides me to her.
Michelle's killer is still at large. But now, with advances in DNA sequencing technology, there is new hope that they will be found.
The latest DNA can sequence what colour eyes you have, what colour hair you have. That's the latest advances we're talking about. So what we're trying to do is take advantage of those new scientific techniques. We know that Michelle met several men during the last 2 days of her life, and those men have never come forward. Her body, her clothing and her jewellery are subjected to DNA forensic analysis, and there were several samples that identified profiles of individuals. Whoever had contact with her, whoever was responsible for her death, would have left a forensic trace. For us, it's unravelling what her legitimate contacts were and what the contacts were of the person that murdered her. John is no longer a young man, and him and Denise are obviously getting older, and, you know, for closure for them would probably be the most important thing in their lives.
I always imagine sitting there with Denise and saying to her, it's all over. And yet I always feel emotional about that, just saying, that's it, it's over now. And then we can just go on and try and live a normal life, which we've not lived for 20 years. It never, ever leaves you. We've served a sentence that somebody else should have been serving.